All right, guys, I think I'm live. It's Brad with College SportsCast, and we are here tonight to do our game day pick'em. All right, guys, I couldn't tell if that run or not. Did it run?
It ran twice.
Yeah, it ran twice.
Did it? Mm-hmm. All right. I couldn't tell if it ran or not, to be quite honest with you. Anyways, I'm Brad with College Sportscast, and we're here to do our game day pick'ems.
Oh, boy.
Every time I'm on, we get connectivity issues.
I don't know, man. He'll get it figured out in a minute. Should, anyways.
Well, I guess we could start with one of the games on the slate, and then I'm betting while we're in the middle of talking, he'll jump back on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So let's. What's your thoughts on Illinois and Kansas? I believe it says Kansas at 3 points for Kansas on that one.
If this was later in the year, I would probably pick Illinois, but since it's Kansas, I think they have the more experienced team. Toledo, to me, is not Kansas. So Kansas put over 500 yards last week. So I think Illinois is going to be in trouble this Friday night. Now, like I said, if this was later in the year, I think it would be a different outcome. But I think the experience of Kansas and their offense that they have, I think they win this game, and I think they cover.
Yeah, later in the year from an experience perspective and from a weather perspective with what Illinois likes to do versus what Kansas likes to do. I think we see another year of I think just with the talent lost to the NFL that Brett Bielema had at Illinois, I think it's going to be a good bit of growing pains going on. So I think Kansas ends up covering this spread. I'm going to say about a little bit of two touchdowns or so is probably what I'll go with for this game.
There's Brad. He's back.
The Brad, man.
I'm back. I've been here for a few minutes, but it didn't pop up.
Well, we was talking. And
I don't know. Like I said, I bought a piece.
He was gone. I don't know what happened.
Just went out. All right. So it looks like you guys went ahead and started Illinois and Kansas.
Yeah. Just up and down like
so
LSU.
It's -3 Kansas. Yeah. So I'm going to take Kansas and take the 3 at home, I think, in that game.
Yeah.
I didn't exactly hear what y'all picked, but
yeah, I took. I think we did. I think we both.
Before we get really going, I was going to try to tell you guys, so last week, I think Taylor and I both went 5-6.
Yeah.
In the games last week. And John, you went 6-5.
Oh, look at you. He's got a blinding lead on us now.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I can't help that I'm the best at what I do.
So that's how. Yeah. All right. So our next game that we're going to go to tonight is Nebraska at Colorado. And Colorado is favored by 3 in this game. Taylor, where are you going to go with this game?
Well, it's a thin spread. I think just kind of what we are used to from Nebraska with the getting their hearts ripped out late in games. I think just the talk is a lot on Edwards, the freshman running back for Colorado, on Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback, with which his stat line last week against TCU was pretty ridiculous. I think this is a game with the I think they said about 60-40 Colorado fans. I think just the explosive plays that I think this offense is going to be able to put up, Travis Hunter being able to get the kickoffs when you need them to. I'm going to go with the Buffaloes to cover on this one.
I'm going to take Colorado too. Last week Nebraska defense looked pretty good against Minnesota, but it's going to be a different comparison to Colorado's attack. It's Coach Prime's first game. I really don't think they're going to miss a beat really offensively. I expect Colorado honestly to play better defensively too. The biggest thing I have is Sims is very turnover prone. That won't work well against a team like Colorado that has a really good defense. And I think they'll make Sims one-dimensional. And I think they'll make him into making forced plays and make them, with turnovers and such. And, it being Prime's first home game, that place is going to be absolutely locked in and ready to rock and roll. So I expect Colorado to come out and win this game convincingly, and I think they cover the spread.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you guys. I picked against Colorado last week. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I picked against them last week. They were 21-point underdogs or 20.5-point underdogs. They're at home, played really well last week. I'm going to take Colorado in the points and take the three points as well in this game. The next game we're going to go to, the DeFan Boys is having a little battle this week with Notre Dame as a 7.5-point favorite at NC State. And we've got a couple of guys in there that's a Notre Dame fan and NC State fan, and they're kind of going at it this week a little bit. But Taylor, where do you think this?
I think this is where we really see the Notre Dame offense under Sam Hartman really, I guess, put their foot on the throat of an opponent here. Just the talent that Marcus Freeman's brought in and the usage of the transfer portal. I think that the talent gap here, especially at quarterback with Devin Leary going off to Kentucky, is just going to be a lot for NC State to have to deal with. I think they do get maybe a turnover, maybe a strip sack type thing early on in the game. But I think by the time the biggest thing that I think decides this game is if NC State lets Notre Dame get into a rhythm offensively. If they do, it's going to be a long day for the Wolfpack. So for this one, I think I'll go Notre Dame by 10, and this one I think they cover.
I do too. Last year Notre Dame had a really great defense, but you know what else they didn't have? They had a very inconsistent offense. And this year they got a really good ground game, and they got one of the best quarterbacks in the nation in Sam Hartman. So I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas here. They have a shot at getting to the college football playoff this year, I think, with Coach Freeman. This is probably one of the better Notre Dame teams in the last couple of years. They just beat Tennessee State. And I think, they play Central Michigan next week. And I don't think they're going to overlook this game because this is a game that they need to take care of and take care of business and focus on next week. I just think the defense will shut Armstrong down, and I think they'll do enough to cover in this game.
All right. I mean, guys, that's kind of where I am. I mean, I will say NC home, they've won like 18 of their last 20 or something like that at home. So, I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, I really feel like this is a really good Notre Dame team with Hartman and what they've got going on the offense. They've got some good defensive pieces, and I'm going to take Notre Dame and take the point.
Good idea.
All right, so we're moving on to our fourth game of the week. This one is Ole Miss. Actually, this is one of the ranked games of the week. There's only 2 ranked games versus ranked teams, and this is one of them. Ole Miss is a 7.5-point favorite at Tulane, and going on the road to Tulane. Second game of the year for Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. So what do you think about this game, Taylor?
For this one, this kind of screams the type of game where Lane Kiffin's aggressiveness gets in the way of him. He gets in the way a little bit. Tulane, I think with the home field advantage as well, I think that's something else to keep track of. Thank you, ESPN. So I think that because of that, I still think Jackson Dart is a question mark. I know I've seen the news suggest that he's made improvements. They brought in Spencer Sanders to kind of create a little bit more of a QB battle there, but Jackson Dart ended up staying as QB1 for the Rebels. But I'm going to say that I think Tulane ends up maybe even winning this game outright. I think for sure they cover the 7.5-point spread here.
Yeah, I'm with you. But this is a game that not only can they really cover this spread, they can actually win this game. Michael Pratt is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. He came back for Tulane. They have a lot of weapons on offense. I don't trust Ole Miss's defense still. I think, Taylor said it. This is one of those games where Lane Kiffin, his stubbornness can get in the way of certain things. And I think I'm going to go with Tulane. I think Tulane wins this game, and they use their experience and consistency to cover the spread in this one and win this game outright. That's my upset pick today.
All right, so y'all both are taking Tulane?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I just don't like Ole Miss's defense
All
right
right.
now.
Well, I'm going to go different, I guess, in this one. I know it's at Tulane, and I know they got a great team, but I'm going to take Kiffin and Ole Miss in this. I'm going to take Judkins. I think they get back to pounding him and running the ball with him a lot this week. And I'm going to take Kiffin and take the 7.5 points with Ole Miss.
All right. Going against the grain, are we?
So got to mix it up a little bit and do something a little different every once in a while with you guys.
You do. That's a fact.
All right. So our next game is a bigger game. This is actually another SEC ACC matchup, and SEC didn't do so well last week in these matchups. So at Miami, and Texas A&M is a 4.5 point favorite. They looked pretty good last week, Taylor. Texas A&M did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, they didn't play much of nobody. Now they're stepping up playing Miami, which is a little bit of a step up anyway. It's at Miami as well. So what do you think about this game?
This is a game between two teams that have, like last year, that really haven't won the big game. And one of those teams is going to do that this weekend. You know, Miami, for me, they have to show me that they can take down a quality opponent. You know, their only win last year over a quality opponent really was Southern Miss. And that's not going to get it done. And I will say this. The Aggies have to play better on the road. I think last year they dropped all 4 of their true road tilts last year. So there's a lot to work with in this game. I'm not so sure that this is maybe this is just too high of a spread to me, especially with Texas A&M's road woes last year. I just don't trust A&M on the road. And I think that's why I'm going to take Miami. I think Miami finally gets that signature win in the Cristobal era. And I think they get it Saturday in Miami.
All right. I'm gonna go the other direction. I'm gonna go. I think A&M covers
Taylor,
this one.
what do you think on this game?
I think we see the Connor Weigman coming out party a little bit. I think what we saw from him towards the end of last year, especially during the Ole Miss game, is going to become more of the standard for A&M at the quarterback position. Talked a good bit last week about Bobby Petrino coming in. Keep in mind, this is also one of the best receiving corps in the country. So on the outside, A&M is going to be the team that's going to have the advantage, that's going to have the ability to hit the explosive plays. I'm not much of a Tyler Van Dyke guy either. I don't really see him as really that much of any kind of premier quarterback. So I think A&M wins this one pretty handily, actually.
He went different on this one. So, Hammond said he don't trust Texas A&M. I'm not sure that I trust Miami. Like they do have some of the best wide receivers in the country. And got Bobby Petrino, and he's pretty much a proven winner in college football. So I'm going to take Texas A&M in this game over Miami, and take the 4.5 points. I know it's at Miami. This is like the road favored games where the road team is coming in and being the favorite this week. and this is one of them. So I'm going to take Texas A&M, take the points on the road, which is not something you normally do when you are doing bets a whole lot on the road.
That's how you run out of money to bet with.
All right. With that said, we're going to move on to yeah. I mean, that's not something you do a whole lot, to be honest with you. So all right. I think I missed one here. So bear with me a minute. All right. So we are not doing Vanderbilt and Wake Forest. Hang on a minute. I missed Texas and Alabama.
That's the game of the week right there.
When I was scheduling this out and doing this, I missed one. There we go. Is it showing up now?
Yep.
All right. So the next game is the biggest game of the week, actually, and it is Texas is going to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. Alabama is a 7.5-point favorite. The last time I looked on DraftKings, Alabama looked pretty good in week one, to be honest with you. So Taylor, where you got in this game?
Yeah, well, it's big transition year for Alabama. You lose Bryce Young and you lose Will Anderson. Hopefully, with a lot of the coordinator changes they had going on, that for their sake, the defense is a lot better and is able to limit explosive plays. Last year, we saw a game where neither team really wanted to take control of the game. There were plenty of opportunities with whether it was procedural penalties or blown coverages, things like that.
Bryce Young took that game over, by the way.
Yeah, I still wouldn't even say that. The score was too low for that. But I think with it being in Tuscaloosa, I think maybe Steve Sarkisian can kind of spin that to his advantage. I think this game goes down to like the last play. So I think I'll have Bama to win, but I don't think they cover the 7.5-point spread.
You know, last year, me and Brad talked about this in the preseason. Alabama committed 15 penalties against Texas last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Saban's going to remind his players about that, about the mental mistakes. I think Texas is in for a rude awakening come Saturday night. I think Alabama wins this game comfortably, and they cover. I think Alabama's defense is going to lock in. But I will say this for Texas's side. If Texas wins this game, I'm not saying Texas is back, but you got to at least get that feel that maybe Texas is turning that engine around, that wagon around. But don't expect that to happen this weekend. Bama cruises.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting to see if they can if Texas and Bama can play without Texas losing their starting quarterback in the middle of the game too.
Yeah,
that's another
that makes a difference.
Yep, let's see if they can finally have that not happen. So
I'll add to this. Alabama has probably one of the best linebacking unit and secondary in the country. They got Chris Braswell. He takes over for Will Anderson at the jack spot. You got Dallas Turner, Deontay Lawson. They got the Georgia transfer, Tresman Marshall. He's another player to watch. So Alabama is loaded on defense. And I think this is a game that Texas is going to struggle with on the road, especially in Tuscaloosa.
All right. I've listened to y'all. So y'all do realize that this is probably the Texas team in a while. Like, they have a crap load of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They have 4 and 5 stars everywhere, and they've got some defensive players as well. It's in Tuscaloosa, and I expect Alabama to win this game. So, I'm going to pick Alabama as far as winning the game. 7.5 points, I think, but I'm still going to pick Alabama. But this Texas team could come in and give Alabama a scare at the very least.
Yeah, this is we talked about the penalties a little bit as well, and I mentioned missing a quarterback. There were a lot of times where both teams left.
All right. The next one now is Vanderbilt at Wake Forest. And Wake Forest is a 10-point.
I think Brad is behind or something because he can't hear Taylor.
Yeah, there's
a 2-3 minute behind. He's behind or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, my connection is not good, guys.
Do you want us to go on or?
I mean, it's. I don't really think we can get much out of this with the delay and all that. That's just me.
Yeah. I think Brad's froze again.
What? Here, Bubby, quit. 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 Bubby, quit.
Or no?